Good evening, everyone. Today is Monday, April 23rd, 2012. If you could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thank you. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And to make this meeting official, I ask Clerk Aaron Vanderwall to call the roll, please.
Pezza. Here. Gudenkauf. Here. Leader.
Here.
Dunn.
Here.
Bram.
Here.
Polomsky. Here. York.
Here.
Hipskin.
Here.
Healy.
Here.
Levin.
Here.
Kennedy.
Here.
Morley.
Here.
Wagner. Absent. Mulliner.
Here.
13 present, 1 absent.
13 present, 1 absent. We have a quorum. And I will now go on to the public hearing. This public hearing concerns residential aggregation for electrical rates. I call the public hearing regarding the residential aggregation for electrical rates to order. Clerk Vanderwall, if you could please call the roll.
Pezza. Here. Gudenkauf. Here. Leader.
Here.
Dunn.
Here.
Bram.
Here.
Polomsky. Here. York.
Here.
Hipskin. Here. Healy.
Here.
Levin.
Here.
Kennedy.
Here.
Morley.
Here.
Wagner. Absent. Mulliner.
Here.
13 are present, 1 is absent.
13 present, 1 absent. We have a quorum, and I will open up the public forum. The purpose of this public hearing is to take public comment concerning the residential aggregation for electrical rates. I would ask that the clerk read any written comments concerning this matter into record.
We have no written communications.
Okay. And City Manager Grabowski.
Thank you. I do have an opening statement to explain the purpose of the public hearing. On March 20th, the voters of Elmhurst gave the City Council the authorization to undertake a municipal aggregation program. The purpose of the program is to lower the residents' power costs on their individual ComEd electric bills. The City will administer the program under the terms of the Plan of Operation and Governance, which is available to everyone. The purpose of this hearing is for the public to make any comments or recommendations to the plan. For those of you not familiar with aggregation, let me summarize it as this. Municipal aggregation is similar to how some municipalities negotiate rates for residential refuse collection or other general services. Instead of 20 different garbage collection companies serving the residents, the city can negotiate lower rates by including all of the residents within the city. The city staff sends out bids to prospective companies, analyzes the bids, negotiates the rates, and picks a winning supplier. The city then informs the residents which supplier will be used and the rate that will be charged. Municipal aggregation is similar. The city will act as the purchasing agent for all of the residents and small commercial users within the community. The city will compare all the bids from power suppliers with the current ComEd rate. If a lower rate can be negotiated, then the city will act on behalf of its residents and move everyone to the new power supplier. ComEd will continue to deliver the power over their wires, and ComEd will continue to bill you. You will have the same account number, and you will send your payment to the same address. In the event of an outage, ComEd will continue to respond and repair the outage. If a new supplier is selected, each resident on the standard ComEd residential rate will be contacted by the city to explain the new pricing and terms. You will be given 2 options to opt out of the program if you prefer to not participate in the city's program and you prefer to continue to purchase your power through ComEd.
Thank you, City Manager Grabowski. Would any members of the public like to make any comments for the record?
Mr. Mayor, we have 4 who have signed in.
Okay. Clerk.
I'm sorry, 5. The first on the list is Lisa Gerhold.
Okay. Lisa, if you'd like to take the microphone to your left, and we will not have any time limit on the public record, public hearing here, so you're more than welcome to speak at any length.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Lisa Gerhold. I live at 139 Elm Avenue in Elmhurst. On behalf of the Elmhurst Cool Cities Coalition, I want to thank the leaders of the City of Elmhurst for pursuing electric aggregation for our community. You have given us an additional choice for buying electricity, and with that, a potential win-win situation for our residents and our community as a whole. The first win is saving money. As seen in other cities, residents will likely see substantial savings with aggregation over current electricity rates. The second potential win would be if Elmhurst chooses to buy more than the 7% renewable energy required by law. we have the opportunity to choose electricity with added value in the form of renewable energy credits. We understand that your intention is to bid on several percentages, including 100% of renewable energy, and we thank you for planning to make this a part of your bid proposal. We would also like to request that you write this into the plan of governance. Based on what we have learned from Oak Park last year and Lake Forest just last week, the prices of renewable energy credits are currently favorable and close to those lowest rates. City leaders of both towns made the decision to buy 100% renewable energy credits because the savings rates for their communities were still very substantial over brown energy. Lake Forest's 100% renewable will save them 39.4% over ComEd rates and only cost 2.33% more than the lowest bid they received. For the value that renewable energy creates in the form of environmental, economic, and healthcare benefits, I urge you to choose 100% renewable for Elmhurst, even if the rate of savings may be slightly less than that of the lowest bid you receive. Please help create this win-win for our community. Your decision can also create a significant and long-lasting win for the environment. Thanks for your consideration.
Thank you.
Next on the list is Tamara McHugh.
Hi, good evening. I'm Tamara McHugh. I live at 611 South Linden Avenue. I'm a 9-year Elmhurst resident, and I just wanted to follow up with Lisa's comments. I'm speaking to you as a resident of something that concerns me and also on behalf of Elmhurst Cool Cities Coalition. And I just wanted to follow up her comments on a more general view. The coalition is a very small group, and while we would have liked to have gotten thousands of signatures to promote renewable energy and urge you to consider the 100% option, we were unable to do that. But if you look at all of the ways that Elmhurst is very green, from the well-attended eco clubs in all of the area schools, the college, the successful Green Fest that we've held as a community, I think this is an issue that's very important to our residents. But I also think that most residents don't really know about electric aggregation yet, and the fact of what's on the table and the vast array of what we can choose from our suppliers. So if you look at how green Elmhurst is becoming, I urge you as city leadership to help us be more progressive in the future and really considering 100% renewables. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Melva Walker.
Wrong list. I'm for it, you guys. I signed the wrong list. Totally for it.
The next speaker is Jim Belden.
Good afternoon, everyone. Jim Belden, 719 Berkeley Avenue. And I wanted to talk about the whole issue of renewable energy certificates and try to put it in perspective of what we're looking at. Some of the comments I heard this earlier today indicate that by buying these certificates, we're going to be getting green power. That is not true. The power that we're going to get is still the same power that's coming from the system. We're buying certificates that are coming from some wind source, predominantly wind, because we don't have hydro here in the Midwest. We don't have a preponderance of solar because solar is very expensive, but it's coming from Midwest wind. The wind turbines, the wind generation, is an intermittent source of energy. What that means is that it cannot be counted on like a conventional power plant, nuclear, coal, or natural gas fired, which is completely reliable, completely dispatchable. The wind is intermittent, and when that means intermittent, it means it is producing electricity when the wind blows. When the wind changes, the output of those turbines changes. When the wind doesn't blow, there's nothing coming out of it. What that means is that there always has to be nuclear, coal, or natural gas that's backstopping whatever wind is out there. National Academy of Science in 2007, and also the U.S. Energy Information Agency, I believe in 2008 or 2009, we're asked that question because of the fact that we are concerned about climate change. The Academy and the agency asked the question, well, will wind turbines, wind generation, reduce carbon dioxide? They looked out at to 2035, in 2030 and 2035, when under the assumption that all states would have 25% renewable portfolio standards, meaning 25% of the output, generation that everyone used in electricity, was being generated from a renewable source. The conclusions of those two studies were somewhat varied, but they indicated that the net reduction of carbon dioxide associated with the 25% RPS going out into 2030, 2035 is going to be somewhere in the area from 0 to 5%, at an extraordinary cost of capital investment and integration into our grid. We're very, very happy, very, very pleased to have a modern grid that provides us electricity as much as we want 24/7. And we do have to understand and try to figure out a way how to reduce our reliance on coal. It will come, but it won't come by buying certificates. It will come over many decades as we figure out how to replace load-following coal, which is absolutely essential to our everyday life, our economy. We will not be able to do that overnight. We will not be able to do that with I don't care how many wind turbines are put in Illinois. If we covered this whole state with wind turbines, it will not solve the problem that wind is intermittent, wind cannot be dispatched, it cannot be relied upon for the integrity of the grid. So, when I come back to the plan of governance, I ask this body to look at going out, procuring the lowest cost possible, and we are going to get favorable rates. We are going to get anywhere from 4.5 to 5 cents for power, whether it's 1 year or 2 year. Let's also take a look at allowing folks that do want to acquire RECs, the Cool Cities folks and others. If they desire that, let's figure out a way how we can structure our program to make the purchase of RECs voluntary in an individual residential decision. This can be easily done by looking at your packet for the opt-out communication that's going to be put together for every resident. Working with suppliers and having them ask the question, get your consultant involved and ask an inquiry, whether the supplier or organizations like Sterling Planet, 3 Degrees, which are 2 major exchanges, clearinghouses for renewable energy certificates, as well as for carbon offsets. Allow the residents to make that decision and don't place it on everyone. I think that as we look, if we're to look at our program and to put it into numbers, our load is roughly about 180,000 to 200,000 megawatt hours in aggregate. This is 200 million kilowatt hours, 180 kilowatt hours. Let me talk in megawatt hours. It's easier for me to compute. Current REC costs are anywhere from $1 to $2 per megawatt hour. So when we multiply $1 against 200,000, we're looking at spending $200,000 a year, if not $400,000 a year for 100% RECs. This is every year, 200, 200, 200. I would like this body to take a look at saying, what can we do in this community if we were given $200,000, $400,000 a year to go into some type of energy efficiency? The plan talks about demand management, energy efficiency. I see that it's completely silent on that. I encourage you to go back and look at figuring out how we can really do benefit to our local community in the way of a reduction of usage through energy efficiency, educating everyone in our community about load management, why it's important to take a look at running dishwashers, running our laundry, our dryers, our washers sometime outside of the period from 10 a.m. in the morning till about 7 p.m. at night, which is the peak time of electricity. Let's figure out how we can level out the load. You know, and that's what I encourage. I encourage us not to simply take a look at buying the RECs and saddling everyone with $200,000 to $400,000 of extra costs that may or may not be desirable. Offer it out to the individuals. Figure out a way how you can work your communication. Allow the Cool Cities folks to get what they want, but also allow people who are not interested in providing subsidies to the wind industry an opportunity not to have to support that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The next person on the list is Tamara Brenner.
Tamara Brenner, 137 North Caroline Avenue. So I'm trying to organize my thoughts here a little because I wanted to respond to some of the things that have been said this evening, as well as make a couple of comments from my own thoughts about this. First, I heard from Mr. Grabowski that the electrical aggregation system is kind of similar to garbage collection, where the city goes out and makes an arrangement for everybody. To me, it seems like more the electric provision is more similar to cell phone or landline telephone service in the house, where people have it in their homes, but they go out and they decide which company they're going to use for services like that. And it's kind of not okay for somebody to come in and automatically change your long-distance provider without you deciding which long-distance provider you want. And that's kind of what's happening with this aggregation, potentially, if people don't pay attention to their option to opt out. You can, right now, you can go pick any one of these alternative retail energy suppliers that you want, and that may maybe fit your objectives better than the one that the city is going to choose to sign everybody up for. So I don't think it's quite right to say it's the same as garbage collection. Secondly, I'm totally with the program on saving money. That's great, and I think green energy and renewable energy is also great, and hopefully the world is moving more in that direction to make it feasible in the future. But and being in favor of those things doesn't mean I'm in favor of the electric aggregation program as it's designed. I'm really opposed to the opt-out program part of it. If it was an opt-in program, that would make a lot more sense to me. People could choose what they wanted. The opt-out part of it, I really don't like, because now I can't keep what I have. I can't just keep it. I have to actually go and do something specific to keep what I have. In fact, in the plan of operation and governance, it talks a whole bunch of times about talks about what you have to do in order to opt out. We still don't have specifics on what we have to do, except we know we have to do it in writing, and we know that it's going to be on some sort of a deadline, that you have to do it in a certain time frame. If you don't opt out, you're automatically opted in. One recommendation I have that I would like to see in the final plan is that whichever provider is chosen, that they need to provide a receipt to me or whoever else submits a written request to opt out, because I don't want to find out later that it didn't happen to get my written request. A dated receipt that documents that I did make that request. Seems like it would only be fair that both parties are participating in that decision. I don't think that would be a difficult thing to add to the program. Also in the program, I was looking at the letter at the back, and I know the councilmen involved in the Finance Committee in particular have said it's a work in progress, this letter, kind of a sample letter to what residents are going to receive announcing the program. I hope that you guys will work really hard on the language in the letter, because the way the language reads now is very prejudicial to me. Either you're with the program and you're going to save money, or you're going to be excluded. Those type of languages, those aren't neutral languages. It says you're totally on board if you're saving money. Who doesn't want to save money? If you don't want to save money, something must be wrong with you. And even more than that, if you're not going to save money, you're going to be excluded from something. So language makes it for people who are just reading it cursorily might think it's very obvious what they should do. And at the bottom of the letter, to receive the savings, you shouldn't respond. Your option one is do nothing and save. Well, who wouldn't want that? That's like an advertisement for what you should do. And opt two is opt out by returning this form, period. So I think you either participate in the program, you don't have to do anything, or you opt out of the program by returning this form. It can be much more neutral, the language here, instead of trying to sway people's opinion on what they should or should not do. One other thing I wanted to mention with the renewable stuff, renewable energy and the renewable electricity certificates or maybe renewable energy certificates, I think is right. It's a very difficult topic. I've been trying to learn about it a little bit, and I still don't think I understand it completely. But what I know is that all these companies are required to provide environmental disclosure statements you get in your bill with ComEd right now, or whichever supplier you have, every quarter. And ComEd, for instance, has coal-fired power 43%, nuclear power 40%, natural gas 12%. I looked up Integris Energy Services also because they're providing 100% green energy to Oak Park or something. But that's all by renewable energy certificates because their environmental disclosure information is pretty similar. They also have coal-fired power at 55%, nuclear power 29%, natural gas-fired power 12%. So we are getting the same or similar electricity to our house, but these renewable certificates go to further development and investment in properties that aren't even local to us. So maybe they are a good thing. I'm still trying to learn about them, but it should be kind of an optional thing like Mr. Belden was suggesting. Shouldn't be forced into doing that right now. Thanks.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Okay. Anybody else for the public hearing? Susan Rose, Alderman Rose. Now the president of the League of Women Voters.
Thank you. My name is Susan Rose, and I am here as president of the League of Women Voters of Elmhurst. My address is 408 Berteau in Elmhurst. I will be short on statistics and long on policy. I want to give you an idea of the policy framework of the League of Women Voters that supports and encourage you to support renewable energy options as we think about electric aggregation. I want you to keep in mind at both the national, the state, and the local level, the League of Women Voters has strongly supported renewable energy. These positions are not top-down positions. These positions are developed by the membership, grassroots, and they bubble up. And I think that's what's critical to remember. First, the League is a very proud member of Cool Cities Coalition, and we support strongly their efforts to bring more renewable energy to Elmhurst. Nationally, I'm going to read some of this because I will be submitting this for the public record. Nationally, the League of Women Voters has taken a strong position to support and make it a national priority environmentally sound policies that really are not against what Mr. Belden is talking about. I think they simply flower and make these more real. 1, to reduce energy growth. 2, to emphasize energy conservation. But 3, to encourage the use of renewable resources. The Illinois League of Women Voters has taken a very similar stand, and also it's made it a priority to reduce carbon emissions. If you remember 5 or 6 years ago, the League in Illinois supported several bills that resulted in removing obstacles to the development of green energy and promoting green jobs. The good news about this is that this has added 10,000 new jobs to the state of Illinois since that time. So the dollars and cents, when you calculate what will occur, I think that's an important piece. Locally, the League of Women Voters of Elmhurst, as you know, we are entering our very proud 80th year in educating voters. We spent a lot of time educating voters about this particular referendum for the March ballot. In concert with the National League, we've developed 3 positions that we strongly support. 1, there should be a variety of energy sources that are used, however, with an emphasis on conserving energy. 2, there should be a predominant reliance on renewable resources. And 3, appropriate action by local government, that is to say the City Council at this point, to encourage the use of renewable resources and energy conservation. So we urge you to consider a 100% renewable energy option for Elmhurst as a way of meeting these goals. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Rose. And anyone else for public forum, for the public hearing, I should say. Right. Oh, Claude? We are going to have public comment after this too, just so everybody understands that as well.
My name is Claude Poggett. I've heard commentary tonight. All sounds wonderful. Green power. Nuclear energy was going to bring us the elimination of coal-fired generating plants. Hasn't done it. Wind power provides some, but I would kind of take the stand of those people that enjoy seeing flocks of birds flying. That wind power has destroyed a great many of our flying friends. So nuclear energy didn't solve it, wind power didn't solve it. So we're really stuck with coal, oil, gas. We don't necessarily like it, but we like the use of power. Now, in the meetings I've been at, I've heard one thing. If we get this, we're going to save money. Well, I don't know about that. See? Because as soon as the public starts saving money, I'm going to hear from the Finance Committee. I've already told Norma about this one. Your income is going to drop off the utility because it's based on how much is spent on it. So my taxes are going to go up on this aggregated electric. Can't lose money in this town. That's the way it is. So my bill goes down, your taxes go down on the utility, therefore the Finance Committee is going to say, need the money. Also, as we go along here, we're left with a guy that's going to negotiate for us. In the meeting I went to, his price is determined by what the state says it is. Nothing preventing him from going back to the state and saying, I need a few more bucks on the bill. Same thing with Commonwealth Edison. They're required to maintain the system. No doubt about that. But they're also required to handle the bills. Before, they just handled one bill, Commonwealth Edison's. Now everybody's throwing in a new bill, new source. And they're going to go back to the state, and they're going to say it costs more. That gets added to my bill. So what in reality am I going to save? Every time somebody comes along and says, I'm going to save, somebody comes along and wants to make a buck off of it. That's the way it is. Okay? I was told if we get rid of AT&T, I'm going to have a better phone system. Nah, not really. I don't have a better phone system. I got a lot of people telling me they'll give me a phone, all kinds of prices, but I can't find out a phone number of a guy next door to me. So is the system better? Well, everybody says it is. But is it really? I brought up about the water. We shut our wells down, got hooked up to the Page water system. We're stuck with one water main into this town. It's going to be the same thing with electric. Everybody's unhappy with Commonwealth Edison. Too expensive, too this, too that. Don't provide service, don't maintain their system. So we're going to parcel it all out. And so we keep on cutting them down. So what happens? Maybe one day they go to the state and they say, well, our generators aren't supplying. We're not making a buck off of old mothball. Then where do we get our power from? And then is the price going to be cheap? It's a grand idea. Everybody ran into it. Oh yeah, we got to get a referendum. We got to vote this in. Why? Before you do everything else, Mr. Morley, he wants TIFs. He's been toying with and toying with it. If he toys with it anymore, he's going to get lost. But with this aggregate, for whatever reason, it had to be. It had to be. And everybody wants it up here. But as I said before, we get bombarded by people that want to sell us electric. Why didn't the people go out and get it? They turned it down. Now we're going to have some kind of choice, if Mrs. Brenner's right, it's going to be a goofy choice. You won't even know if you got it or you didn't get it. But that's the reality of it. Everyone's green. It takes time. And the guys that are generating our power now do not see a need to invest in a great deal of wind or any other system. They tried it with nuclear, cost them billions. Today, a nuclear reactor will cost you $20 billion to put up. So keep on cutting Commonwealth Edison out, and let's see where this power is coming from. One day, when they don't generate or they aren't going to build another one. So it's a good idea for some, but you better really look at it and figure about this grand rush to give it to the people of Elmhurst. We've done it in the past, and they really, in the long run, haven't benefited.
Thank you, Clyde. All right. Anyone else sign up? Don't want to sign up? Okay. I will officially close the public hearing at this time and ask for a motion to adjourn. Alderman York with a motion. Second by Alderman Dunn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. And I will go into announcements. Anybody with announcements for today? Okay. And public comments. Anybody sign up for public comment? Clerk Vanderwall.
Melva Walker.
Melva, would you like to public comment, or were you on the wrong list, or are you okay? Okay. Okay. Very good. Okay. Very good. All right. And without anybody for public comment, I would ask for a motion to adjourn. Alderman Morley with a motion. Second by Alderman Kennedy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. With the adjournment.